Welcome to another Ride on Railway video, and I almost forgot to edit my footage that I took from the open weekend. So this is what you can see now. And yeah, so there's going to be a couple of footage which actually my wife did using her phone while I am driving, so that's going to be just a few shots. And then I also tried to record most of the locos that were in the open day. It was more or less the usual lineup. I mean, we had Slovakian, Slovenian, Austrian and Croatian guests with the guest locos, so you could see them. I didn't manage to film all of them because I made surprisingly minimal footage despite that I was there for 2 days. Yeah, then there was a couple of new locos. I was really happy to see, new Hungarian folks building new locos. I actually contributed, well, I helped one of them to build their locos. You can probably see like it's a small, it's a 2-axle freelance engine, also painted green with a cab at the end. So I was trying to help them to design the 3D printing and working fusion and that sort of stuff. And also I could see a couple of new engines. So I think when I'm driving around in one of the footage you may see an SD40-2 which is being built. That is going to be a hell of a loco. That's a huge impressive beast. And of course for me the new thing was the MK49. That's a new petrol hydraulic engine that was built by the park, and they have these new sitting coaches with the sides on your sides. So that's like a big. I think they told me that the whole consist is like 1.5 tons with the loco and the 3 or 4 coaches. And then right at the end of the video you can see us taking a ride on that in the evening, because there are some LED strips inside and they turn it on and it's like it's almost like a Christmas tree. It was pitch dark, so you can't really see anything else, but then yeah, the train goes by. Back to my loco. You can see a couple of GoPro footage driving it around in a track. I managed to secure the GoPro on the side, so it's looking at the bogies and how the suspension and the spring is going. I wish I made more clips of that. I think next time I should reposition the GoPro so it's much lower down, so I can see more of the sort of how the axles are going up and down in the springs, and how it negotiates all the kinks and everything in the track. So that's definitely something that I should remember doing next year. But still, it was great, and as I said, I had no issues at all. The loco was driving great. Everything was going fine. I was, measuring the power consumption in every single lap, and I could see that it definitely uses more power than the old loco, but actually not that much. But in most of the cases, I had one car or one coach behind me. So there was the driving trolley and then one coach where the guests could sit. And if I was using that, I think I was using 14 or something watt-hours per lap, and the old loco was using 11 and 12, so it wasn't a lot. But then there was a half-day period when I got two wagons or 2 coaches. So obviously then, I don't know how many, but it could have been like 4 kids, 4 adults, plus me behind the loco. And that time it was using like 30 watt-hours. So it's definitely was pulling hard. And I could feel that the loco was less responsive. I would probably say that it had, that was more reserved in the motors, but maybe the batteries are a little bit too low for such a load. I mean, it's 2 60 amp hour batteries, and yeah, I could definitely feel the difference. I mean, I think that's normal. I mean, yes, why you feel the difference if you are pulling, I don't know, 5 or 6 adults as opposed to 2 kids, or maybe 1 adult and 2 kids or 2 kids. Anyway, so yeah, and so sort of at the end, I said I would rather just use one wagon again, and just go around with less people, and that's what I did. And I just feel more comfortable. The battery is going to last, and yeah, and the reason I was a little bit concerned about the battery, because even though this is a new battery that I bought last year, and I was using it last year as well, but I really haven't used the Loco at all since the last open day. So it's been sitting in the shed, and it was constantly hooked up to a charger, which I think has this program to trickle charge throughout. But still, it was outside in a shed, so it was exposed to the weather. Well, it is exposed to the cold weather. So I wasn't sure if that caused anything, or maybe if I have used a couple of times during the year, it would have been better for the batteries. And also I noticed that even if I fully charged the batteries, there was definitely some voltage difference. So I'm using these chargers from Lidl, so they have a voltage meter, and one would charge up to 14.2 volts, the other one charge up to 13.7 volts before it stops charging or it goes into a trickle charge. So I thought maybe one of the batteries is not the best and the whole thing is not the best. But yeah, it was, to be honest, with a lighter load, it was pretty much behaving the same as the old Loco in terms of power. Not in terms of how the battery was performing, how the voltage was dropping as I was accelerating. So at least I was confident that it is going to be fine, and it was fine. So probably the only thing I would change is on the main breakers. I think, sorry, on the main two solenoid relays that cut the power. I think I used some generic relays that I probably purchased from AliExpress. So I'm definitely going to replace that with something that I buy locally and probably higher amperage, because that was pretty much the only thing that I could feel that it's getting warm. So because I have no windows inside, or no windows on the Loco, I was able to reach in through the window in the middle, and basically just touch everything inside. And the batteries were definitely not warm. Those two, or the main fuse, which is a 32 amp fuse, wasn't warm. Those two relays were a little bit warm. I mean, they were just more than the ambient temperature, definitely not hot. So there was nothing I was concerned there, but I think just to be on the safe side, I'm going to replace that. And they all come with these connectors, so it's easy to just unplug them, replace them, get a new one with, they have the same connectors, but they just have a higher amperage and probably a little bit more branded than a generic something that I buy from AliExpress. So, yeah, and I was able to get everything in and out, and the new track that I secured the Loco on was much better. It was much easier to secure. It was moving much less when I was driving home and on the way in. So that has worked out great. So overall, it's been great. It was a really nice 2 days. I was also happy that I managed to get there on Friday evening. So by the time I got there on Saturday morning, I was all set up and I was ready to go. There wasn't too much hassle in the morning, and the other thing which doesn't come through in the recording is that the rain started coming in on Sunday afternoon, so that pretty much cancelled anything from Sunday like 3 o'clock. But I think I stopped driving around 1:30 to have lunch. I put the Locos on charge, but then by the time I came back, it started raining, and I just decided to stay in. I thought maybe the rain is only going to last for, let's say, a half an hour, and it's going to be a light rain. But then we watched the weather forecast, and we could see that the clouds are coming just for the next couple of hours. So actually, we ended up I just got the car around. We packed everything in, and I was just walking around. There were still some indoor exhibitions with some G-scale layouts, and I had some other friends there, so I stayed with them for a couple of hours. We were talking and chatting, and finally, when it was pretty much the end of the show, I just left. But then the train was already in the car, so it was again easier ride home without all the backing together with everybody when, you know, usually everyone leaves at the same time. So yeah, we lost a little bit of opportunity to ride, but overall it was a really, really great weekend. So I hope you enjoy the rest of the footage. Probably just going to be the big loops driving around with the GoPro. But yeah, that will be all for now. And thanks for watching. And I hope to see you in the next video.
Grazie, volete.